Welcome back to the Proud Skill Worker. We have Phillip, United States Army veteran, Michael, United States Marine Corps veteran. What we're going to talk about right now is best jobs for the future. What are the trades that you need to be getting into? So what's coming, guys? What do you guys feel like in the world of maintenance, certifications, development? What do you guys think is actually coming? Like, what's the next thing?
In my field, into industrial maintenance, I think it's going to be more of not so much hands-on, but robotics. You know, they're steering away from the actual mechanics and the actual line workers. Are getting into more the robotics and the automation. I think if anybody comes into the field that I am, I think they need to have the more hands-on to learn these different trades, because everything's coming to technology, and that's just going to be the world from now on.
Do you think that's like more PLC computer interface stuff, or like
yes.
When you say like coming into the trades? Because for me, I see like, hey, you got to know how to fix it, but you also got to know how to step back and really interface with the project and program it. So is that a skill you're going to need to have, is being able to interface and program and at least understand what the machine is doing as it's being automated?
Yes, and that's what the mechanics that I work with, that's one of the things that I tell them. I say, you need to look deeper into just what's broke. You have to find out what's causing it to break. You can always look at the PLCs on a piece of equipment, and see, hey, that light's on, but it's not supposed to be on, so that means that this sensor's bad. Or, that light's supposed to be on, but that light's not on, so this must be bad. And I tell them, and that's, I didn't go to school for that. Mm-hmm. That's just something I learned over time. I had a boss of mine that sat there, and he did the same thing with me. He says, hey, look at that board right there. Tell me what's wrong with that. And I'm like, what? A bunch of blinking lights? That don't mean nothing to me. And he goes, well, that means everything to you. You better learn it.
Those lights are your job. Let's learn them. That's funny.
And that's what it was. So that's what I tell, the mechanics that I work with. You want the easiest way, the best way to do your job is to look at those blinking lights.
All right.
Because it's going to tell you everything.
All right. What about, Michael, for you? In the automotive world, how is technology or advancements in certifications, like what's next for you?
I want to get into electrical.
Okay.
Because, I know how to read schematics and work on electrical. I've built my own wiring harness for my 69 Nova that I have. Everything is going to the electrical side, like he was saying. And yes, it's helpful to be hands-on mechanic, replacing alternator, pumps, installing hydraulics, cameras, stuff like that. But all that stuff is being built in to other components now, and it's not really needing maintenance. And if it does, you just replace the whole thing and the whole unit as one.
Cars are on computers now.
Yeah.
There's really no maintenance left. Now you got to have a computer to do the maintenance. You have to have a scanner
to see what's wrong with the code. You can't just look at it by looking at the light. You have to dig into it deeper. And I think the electrical side is where it's all going. So I'm going to have to start looking into that now.
Okay. What's out there for that? Courses, I think there's some ASE certifications that go into that. Is there other things?
There's some like journeyman's programs you can do. If you have the opportunity to, there's just hang out with the older guys that have been doing it for a while. They'll tell you a trick or two.
Yeah, definitely. Teach a new dog new tricks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, what I want to understand is both of you guys are currently in really strong fields that are definitely like depleted in talent. Nobody's really coming up to reinforce you guys at this point in time. What are you guys looking for when you guys want to bring somebody in? Like when you're talking to people who you want to come work for you, like what are you telling them? Like, hey man, go get this job. Yeah, it's going to probably be uncomfortable for the first year or two, but we'll get you trained. We'll get you into these certs. How do you guys sell what you do to people? Like what's the drawing force that you're using?
I look for someone being organized, for me, I'm very brutal with how if I want to work with somebody.
Yeah.
I got to see how they talk. If they talk clean, if they talk smooth, not smooth, but if they talk not all trashy, I can work with them good. Or if they get in the car and it's all trash, it shows me their work ethic. I'm not really, this guy's going to keep the shop clean and, work good. But they have to be willing to learn, willing to take criticism and not be like, well, I did it this way and it worked all the time. Well, it doesn't work that time all the way. You got to do this way, cut this one, cut this, whatever. But just have the right attitude and someone that I could be, you know what, you're messing up, I'm going to have to write you up. Not someone that I'm going to be afraid to, let me just let it slide. Maybe you'll fix it next time. Somebody that you're able to not beat down, but you're able to criticize them in front of people so they know, And then so there's no like friend-to-friend relationship in the job. You're all coworkers.
Right.
You can have friendships, but just not to where it risks the job's work site's integrity.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes working with your buddy's harder because you got to look at them and go,
Yeah,
hey,
man.
you didn't do that right.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
hey,
some
we're
stuff.
going to be friends. I get it, but you're doing this wrong, and it's not helping anybody. So that's an interesting dynamic. I've never really thought through like that world of, hey, we're all friends, but at the end of the day, you're wrong. You got to fix it. So
And then it starts conflict.
yeah, it does. And if you can't handle that, that's a different animal
Then
in
there's
itself.
something outside a job you got to deal with now.
Yeah, there is. Phillip, what about for yourself? I mean, what do you, when you're bringing people in and you're like, hey, I want you to be a part of my team, but here's what I need you to learn first. What is that? What's that first thing you tell people? If you were taking someone who had no experience, no apprentice programs, nothing, just walked in, hey, I need a job.
I'd probably go with their ambition and their attitude.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of mechanics that come through that didn't even know how to run a wrench besides, even how to work a grease gun, but if you have somebody that's willing to do anything to learn that job because they enjoy what they're doing or they have a great attitude, they're always like, hey, what do you got for me to do right now? What do you have this, That's it. You can take anybody and you can make them the best they could ever be, but they have to start with that attitude they have, and I've seen mechanics that's been doing this job for 25 years that just have a bad attitude. Nobody wants to work with them. Nobody wants to be around them. Nobody, you know what? You want to go home, just go home because I really don't want to hear it today.
Right. That's tough.
And it's
I'll do the work myself as opposed to
it's
hearing you
sad.
complain about it.
I don't want to work with somebody that I got to sit there and listen to them constantly complain, I'd rather take that new guy over there that don't know how to run a grease gun than have your experience on my back.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. I'd rather show him than listen to you.
No, I get that. I think for me, what I want to know, and so like professionally developing and kind of growing in your role to uptick those is important. So like what certification and training should companies be sending people to is the biggest frustration that we hear from skill workers who are actually in the field is I want to learn more, but nobody's giving me an opportunity, but they want me to know more. It's that old joke of need 5 years of experience. I'm 21. Where did I get that at? Like this idea that people are going to have more experience than they have years on the earth. So what certification and training programs do you guys think companies should be investing in and sending people through, or that you guys would invest in yourselves and send yourselves to?
The company that I work for is in the food industry. They're in the food business, and most of them that I've worked for have been that way. But it's different equipment. When I was in Texas, it was all different equipment from what I'm doing using up here.
Yeah.
I think that each company needs to focus on giving their mechanics the classes that they need to know all about this equipment.
Oh, interesting. Like an on-site training? Like, hey, welcome.
Well,
we're going through an on-site training today.
Like the company that I work for now,
Yeah.
they are all about that. I could walk into their office right now and say, hey, can you send me to Kansas City for multivac training?
Oh, wow.
And they'd say, yeah, you want to leave tomorrow? And that's the stuff that they do because they want their mechanics to know this equipment. Like I said, they pay for sending their apprentices to school. But if I walked into that office and I said, hey, you know what, Nick? I'd like to go to computer programming or, PLC programming, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, yeah, I can set you up. You want to start? You can start next week if you want.
Yeah.
And they have no plex about that. They want that skill in their people. When I was in Texas, the company that I work for, they sent me to a 4-day ammonia refrigeration certification class.
Yeah.
Because they wanted all their mechanics to be ammonia certified.
Okay. Is that down in Garden City? Down in Garden City, is that where that
Yes,
course
that's where
was?
I went.
Yeah.
They spent all this money to send these people to get certified for ammonia refrigeration just to have a contract company take care of all of it.
Interesting.
So they took 4 days of my life to send me to a class that I'm never even going to use. I mean, I'm glad that I got it. Of
course. Free cert.
It looks good. It looks good on a resume, even though I've never used it. And that whenever they was asked, say, hey, we got all this new equipment in here that nobody knows even how to run. Nobody's even knows how to power it on. Nobody even knows the password to get into it, to see the settings or whatever it is. And they go, well, you better get the book out. I'm like, so you're going to send me to 4 days refrigeration class that I'm never going to use, but you can't give your mechanics a training on the equipment they're going to be working with every day.
That's tough.
You know, and that's where I'm grateful at with the company I work for, because they want that. They instill that.
Right.
You want this, it's right there. You can have it.
Yeah, I bet that attitude that the company you're with now takes is probably a little nerve-wracking in today's environment, because you send somebody to 5 or 6 of those training certifications and they turn around and leave, as we just talked about, this world of, well, I don't like it here, I'm going to go. That starts to become kind of a cost issue. And so it's great that companies are still, and I'm happy to hear that with your company, that companies are still like, no, we'll send you, let's get you certified. And it's not well, you haven't really been here long enough, you haven't done the thing. So it's good to hear that. And I think companies need to take a better approach at leveling up and kind of growing their own employees, because like you said, I'm glad I have that cert, but I wish I would have used it. Like if they would have asked me to use that certification, hey, you got me certified, let me use it. Oh, okay. But you want me to work on this thing that I don't know anything about, that you won't certify me in. How does that make sense? So companies understanding that asking people to do things, there should be a why behind it, or at least explain it, instead of just go do this and have a good day. We'll see you later. Mm-hmm. So I think that's tough. I think for you, Michael, it's probably different in the automotive industry, isn't it? I mean, just on that side of the house, there's a lot more certifications and steps that come with that. So curious to know kind of, for you, what's that look like?
For me, I work on semi-trucks and I install hydraulic systems.
Okay.
Just dress them up all the way down. No, not like that. Not yet, hopefully. But yeah, we work with a lot of the electricity with them. We tear apart some of the wiring harnesses and tap into them and install our own harnesses in there. Yeah. So I think anything to do with the electrical side, like low voltage, it just makes you have an understanding. Some people are afraid to touch their batteries when they swap them out. Like, it's not going to hurt you. Just go at it. You're not going to, unless you touch something else, then you're fried, but you're not going to do nothing else. Just don't be afraid of it. Then they'll get a better understanding and they won't be so scared. Right. I think like low voltage helps me with the job that I got. Uh-huh. And I mean, I have certified hydraulics too, but I had a good understanding of all that in the military. I don't have much civilian life experience yet. Yeah. But I could say with my current situation, it was hydraulics, low voltage, and just having a overall knowledge of how something works. Yeah. And if you don't know how it works, you look into it and figure out how it works. You talked about that low voltage certification and that height certified, that big giant windmill certification you got you'll never use again because you don't like it. Mm-hmm. How long did that take you? What was that course like? Oh, that course was not long at all. It was only like, what was it, 2.5 months. Okay. So in 2.5 months, you got a certification that is now going to work for you for the rest of your life in that low voltage wiring. Mm-hmm. And in 4 days, Phillip, you got a certification in, you said it was ammonia refrigeration through Garden City? Yes. That's good for, it's 5 years, right, on that?
2 years, I believe.
2 years, okay. So you guys just described 2 certifications that take less than 60 days, or right at 60 days, that have a career path behind them. And so that's what I'm curious of, is why are more people not investing in, for 4 days and then I have a job? I got 4 days. I would say it's not like a 2-hour class a day. I was in class almost like a 9-hour shift each day for that whole 2 months. So if someone's working, I was 8 to 4:30. That was I had a lunch in between too, so it was a long class. And it was at Zoom during the beginning of the pandemic, I think it was. And then after that, I went hands-on. I climbed the tower, did all this hydraulic schematic stuff on there in the campus. And, you know, if they don't have the free time to do it, that's the main thing. But I just got out of the military. I had all the time in the world to do it and just try to find something to benefit me and my family. Yeah. Is that a course that was sponsored by the GI Bill? It wasn't sponsored, but they took it. Oh, they did? I don't know if that's what you mean, but... Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So... definitely, I mean, that course, like you said, if you have a full-time job, you're not going to be able to do it that quickly. But, you know, 2 months, so anybody graduating high school, you can do that in a summer. And by the time August rolls around, you're ready to go with careers. So yeah, and they provide housing on there. Oh, man. I mean, three hots a day, 3 hot foods a day. Yeah. It's in California, and I think there's one in Hawaii and North Carolina. Oh, all so tough to visit those places. Mm-hmm. But... it was a pretty cool program. I would recommend it to anybody. Yeah. And I think, Phillip, the one you refer to, that Garden City program, I know that the ammonia program is fairly world-renowned there at that facility. They have a top-of-the-line facility that you're referencing. Didn't impact your maintenance life, I understand that, but definitely talking about the jobs of the future, some of these jobs aren't going anywhere. Ammonia refrigeration is not going anywhere in the future. Low voltage, not going anywhere. People are going to need those skills. And even now, you can cross into industrial maintenance with that skill set of, well, hey, I can troubleshoot this PLC. Let's go to work. And then you guys just kind of work to teach each other the pieces you don't know. So for me, like right now, are you guys currently doing anything to level yourselves up? What's that next thing you guys are currently doing outside of OJT? Because I know you guys are both doing, you're on the job training and you're on job development. Are you guys currently doing anything that is going to impact your career, impact you professionally, or kind of continue to grow that book of good business for yourself?
I wouldn't say it's anything official or organized, but I do a lot of troubleshooting on my own vehicles.
Okay.
So a lot of that correlates to my job. And if, this was the same thing on my truck, and then I figured out it's the same thing. And then it's nothing school related. I'm not really looking into that right now. I'm just trying to get settled in. But I just work on my own vehicle whenever I have the chance to, and look up videos. I mean, off the clock, I'm still watching mechanic videos anyways. That's what I like to do for fun, and just figure it out, because I don't like asking for help, but if I need to, I will. I'm not afraid to. Yeah. But I like having the challenge. I want to figure it out and find it myself. So I don't take my car to a mechanic shop or anything. I do it on my own, unless it's a big job. But that's what I do. I'm not really into a school program right now.
Cool.
Since I started the place I'm at now, I really don't look for any other certifications. I went to ammonia refrigeration. That was the only one that at the time I really thought I needed. As far as the PLCs and the electrical, that was things that, just come from hands-on, from being around it, and eventually being forced to have to know it, because, that's just the industry it is. Right now, I'm not doing anything, but there's always that opportunity that I can if I change my mind. Right now, the company I'm with, they're good about, if you want to go somewhere, they're going to send you to whatever it is you want to do. But they also have, like, the techs for the equipment that come in, and my boss will say, hey, the tech's in here to look at this piece of equipment. Why don't you go over there and, play with his head and get in his head and know what he's got going on.
Oh, like the service tech, like the manufacturer technician? Yeah. Oh, man, that's a good resource. Yeah, they're like, the only way you're going to learn this if you learn it from the guy that actually designed it or works on it constantly, And that's what they do. My boss is like, hey, stop what you're doing and go with this guy. Go shadow that guy for a little bit, see what he knows. Yeah. Make him mad, question him on everything he does. Don't let him do his job unless you know exactly what he's doing to it, right? Yeah, absolutely. And it just, I've never really felt with this company that I really need to go off on my own to get another certification, because everything I need, they always have it right there. They're always providing no matter what. Right. Yeah, I mean, if they're giving it to you, why go get it somewhere else? Yeah. So, I think my last question is kind of where do you guys want to go? Like, what's the end goal professionally for you guys right now? If I were to say, hey, I got a magic button, I'll hit it, and I'll take you where you want to go professionally, what is it? I don't have a magic button, just so you guys know. It's not going to happen. I'd honestly say I probably wouldn't go anywhere. I kind of like where I'm at, so. I have that magic button.
I could see myself working as like a management role. Okay. Or even if I could work into Skillwork, or be a representative for them, or go out and travel to different. I'd love to help military veterans, because I know how much it sucked to get out and not know what you're gonna do. Yeah. And just to provide that relief for those, I know you have a kid and it's stressful, and that's what I would like to do. I don't want to keep doing this traveling everywhere, because my daughter's eventually going to grow up and go to school, and I don't want that, and I want her to be with her family. But if I had the opportunity to be, okay, this is my remote location, I'm doing this, and I know what I'm doing every single day when I go to work, it's not a surprise. It's not going to be changed up once I walk through the door and I'm halfway through the project. You don't like that? You don't like being halfway in and they tell you to go do something else? Well, right now I'm okay with it, but just when I get older, I feel like that's what I want to do. No? Or look into. I mean, Skillwork's a great company. I would love to work for them. That's great. Even more. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Proud Skill Worker. Again, continue to watch the show. Thank you so much to Phillip and Michael for being on. We really appreciate their insight. Continue to reach out. Let us know what you guys want us to dive into, and really what you want us to explain, get into, how you want us to help you. Thanks for your time.